much for joining me. Good evening, everyone. My name is Carlie Mayheron, treasurer at Green Macmillan Phillips Farm. Most of you know me. And we're here today based on our last board meeting. We were discussing the trouble with recruitment in our livestock program for volunteers. And I was tasked with providing some insights. So I have spent some time researching, and I'd like to present you guys with some thoughts this evening for us to reflect on and maybe find some action steps here. So for those of you who aren't familiar with exactly what's involved with the livestock volunteer duties, it is quite extensive and very demanding. It brings to mind the story of Christian. Some of you know volunteer Christian. When he first joined it's been about 8 years now. He was coming in for the first time for his volunteer interview to meet the director and, discuss his interests and see if he was a good fit. So he pulls up on site and the director's not in her office. And he sees that she is up in front of the house, so quite a ways from her office, on the grass with another volunteer, chasing after a sheep, the ram, Chip, the father of a lot of our lambs during that time period, had escaped from the pasture and was running amok on the lawn of the house. And so he got to witness some cursing, some headbutting, and the director sliding 10 feet in one direction. Got to see a shepherd's hook trying to be used. I was not aware of this until the story came out. The hook is used to hook around the sheep's neck and help guide it. It's great. Our shepherd's hook was too small for Chip's neck, so it really just looked like we were beating him with it. We weren't. But this amusing sight was his first experience with Green Bank. And luckily that did not deter him, and he became a great volunteer, as you all know. But it goes to show you that there's some interesting stuff that goes on site, and there's a lot that we ask of our volunteers and a lot of weird situations they might encounter. So how do we motivate them? How do we get them to become interested and stay interested in spite of all of these difficult things that we ask of them? So I think that we shouldn't forget that this is a two-way street, and it's not just that we're getting their volunteer labor for the program. It's also that they're getting something out of it. Sarah, a number of years ago, 10-year-old girl, came in with her mom and wanted to start volunteering because she liked animals, and her mom was motivated to have her experience whatever she needed to experience in life in order to find her path. And she stuck with us for, I want to say, 5 or 6 years. Wonderful girl, became a great volunteer, and she's pursuing a career in veterinary sciences now. And all of that is because we were able to provide that type of opportunity for her. We know that we all have our favorite sheep here on site, very rewarding relationships with the ewes and the rams and lambs when they come. They definitely kind of step between the livestock designation and the pet designation. We all know Chip was bottle raised at one of our volunteers' houses. And it's great seeing that type of opportunity is available in an urban setting, and one where we have a very respectful environment and opportunities for everybody to try new things and help themselves and us grow. So when it comes to recruitment, in thinking through and reviewing our volunteer records, there were some patterns that I recognized in terms of the types of folks that we tend to recruit here at Green Bank and retain. So in thinking through that, in order to target those, I'm thinking that our flyers should start going up in places like organic markets, co-ops. So we've got the Newark Co-op, we've got the Hockessin market up the road here from us. I know there's one in Trolley Square, Wilmington. Let's see if we can partner with them, get some flyers up in those locations. as well as vet clinics. I think every single person here has a cat or three or dogs. Let's each reach out to our vets and see if they'd be willing to have a poster for volunteer opportunities here at Green Bank. I think that'd be a great way for us to really reach out to people that this type of work resonates with them. They want to experience a little bit of agrarian life. They want to interact with animals and really get hands-on with them. And then those types of businesses could then lead to other opportunities for us. So the markets, often they're involved in farmers markets. The Newark Co-op hosts a farmers market. So maybe then if we do see that that is a good audience for us, maybe we sometimes set up booths there. Pets in the Park is run by the Concord Pet Organization. So maybe we set up a booth there and try to speak to folks who we know will be interested in the type of workplace that we're offering. I'm also thinking about our social media. We've typically just opened up volunteer opportunities to our followers, but I think it's worth throwing, we could throw as little as $20 at Facebook and really have them expand our reach to several thousand folks who are living in the area, the right age group, right interests, and we can really target that out to them. I also think we need to revisit our nonprofit website listings. So we do currently have the opportunity listed on a number of local and regional websites. And I think we should probably start looking at how effective those are. I don't think we've studied that. So I'm going to be working with a director to pull our volunteer records to check on the recruitment through those websites and how well we were able to retain them, to see if we can identify any patterns. If maybe we don't get a lot of retention from those websites, maybe we need to revisit the language or even whether or not we use them. Certainly if they're free, I don't see any harm in it, but if we're not really getting the right people, then let's revisit it and see what else we can do. And then how do we keep them? So this group here, we see each other quite often. We meet on site, we meet in Zoom settings. We see each other all the time and are working through our individual positions, whether we're staff or volunteers. But we often forget that the shepherds don't get to see each other. They have their little isolated slot. So it's Wednesday evenings. They come every Wednesday evening. They feed the sheep. They clean the barn. They take care of whatever needs to be taken care of in the barn. And then they go home and they don't really get to interact with anybody. Maybe our site manager or one of our residents, but they don't get to see each other. And we have found that the couple of times we've done on-site volunteer events with the volunteer shepherds, that they do get very excited to meet each other. I've heard anecdotally that some of them only know each other by their email handle. They don't even know their actual names. So I think we need to start doing that more often, maybe quarterly. Doesn't necessarily have to be on site. We could say it's a happy hour down at Bellefonte. During the pandemic, we hosted a little coffee hour with our shepherds online on Zoom just to get them to socialize a little bit more. And so we could show some appreciation for the work that they were doing through the pandemic. So I think that will really help with our retention and helping them meet each other and being able to have those shared experiences, which I think is really key when you're volunteering. You want to connect, So I also see several of you wearing your Green Bank gear. Volunteers always love it when we bring in new hats or jackets or whatnot. Let's maybe have something special for those who recruit for us. If somebody has a friend or a colleague that they're able to bring into the fold and starts as a volunteer, maybe both the new recruit and the seasoned volunteer both get an extra hat or a special glass or something that we can provide to them to really thank them for that effort in, sustaining the program here at Green Bank. I've also noticed that not many of our volunteers make use of some of the perks we have on site for them. So they are allowed to earn hours towards a hall rental. So just like we have, keeping our lights on is all of the birthday parties and bridal showers on the weekends, renting out the space. Well, our livestock volunteers for, I think it's 10 hours for 10% off. If they're doing a 2-hour shift once a week, which is typical throughout the year, that's 100 hours. That's a free event for them. And I don't see anybody using that. They should know, that's something they could use, maybe have a friend or a family member use it if needed. It's a great opportunity for them, again, to interact more with the site and for us to show our appreciation for them. So I also was thinking that maybe, sorry, I just completely lost my train of thought. I am so sorry. One of the other perks that they do have that we all know that they all take benefit of is the lamb naming rights. So when we have lambs born on site, our livestock volunteers are the ones who create the first list of names that then we narrow down with our membership, that being a membership perk. So I know they all are aware of that. And lastly, I was thinking maybe we could start incentivizing a good attendance. Something little like from elementary school, but even if, you get a certificate at the end of the year for perfect attendance, just some way to recognize them for their efforts because they do this, just like postal workers, rain, snow, no matter what day, holidays, they're out there taking care of our sheep. And I think showing them a little bit more of our appreciation will certainly help. So thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it.